Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I am really excited today to talk with you about my reading goals for 2023. I recently shared with you 23 goals I have for the year 2023. None of those were actually reading goals. They were all lifestyle, financial, spiritual, once and done. Like they were all different goals, but not specific to my reading life. And I will start again by saying reading goals are fun, but they are not anything that I allow to add pressure to my life. This is kind of the TED Talk, the soapbox, my big idea when it comes to goals, because I know at this time of year there are so many people sharing their goal videos, and it's so fun to get excited about goals. And then months down the road, I start to hear people feeling pressure about these goals they've given themselves. And I say, relieve yourself of that pressure. I have 7 goals this year for my reading life, and none of them matter. In the end, they're fun, and ultimately part of the reason for almost all of these goals is to read books off of my shelves and to read in different ways. It gives me ways to look at my reading a little bit differently, to think about my reading a little bit differently. And I love that, and it's a lot of fun. But ultimately, if I don't accomplish these goals, it doesn't matter. In the light of eternity, it doesn't matter. But they are fun to make, and I get really motivated by a checklist, by having these goals. And so we're just going to go through them. I will first say that I did make a Goodreads challenge. I do not at all pay attention to see if I'm on track, or I don't care about the number. I put it at 125, I think, again for this year. I might have actually done 150, but I don't care about that number. I just do it just to participate in the Goodreads reading challenge. It's just for fun. Hopefully I'm reading a high quality of books and not just a great number of books. But the rest of these are more specific about types of books that I'm going to be reading throughout the year. And I have not yet sat down to do a wrap up of my goals from the past year, from 2022. I did want to switch things up a little bit. Some of these goals will be similar to ones that were on here before, but I did change things a little bit, and we're gonna talk through it. But the first goal I have is that I want my NetGalley percentage to be above 70%. My goal for this past year was to just increase my score, and I'll let you know if I did that or not. Most of you have been following along. You know that I did. But this year, want to aim, shoot high for a specific percentage, and that's 70%. And that's kind of crazy. On NetGalley, they recommend that your feedback ratio is at 80%. I don't want to put myself at 80 yet. I don't want to push for 80 yet. From where I am now, I think 70 is a feasible goal as long as I stop requesting books. And I've done really good. The only books currently that I've been requesting, with a few exceptions, are books that are on my anticipated reads list. So I think that's a good way to kind of limit myself on NetGalley. So I'm not just requesting every book that looks interesting. I'm requesting specifically books that I'm hoping to read in the new year, and then I can tell you about them. That's the goal. I want to get to the point where I'm actually reading books that are coming out when they're coming out, so I can let you know about them, especially ones that I've already said I'm looking forward to, and then I can let you know if I like it or not. So that's the plan. Request fewer books. I still have a big backlist on there that I've been chipping away at, and I'm going to continue to chip away at it. But the first goal, NetGalley above 70%. The second goal is a similar goal to what I've had before, where I've just wanted to work on series. And I think last year I said I wanted to read 20 books that were a part of a series. And I included in that books that started a series. This year in particular, I do have a goal to work on series, but I want to finish 6 series. And that may seem like a small number, but last year I DNF'd 11 series, and I'll do a video where I specifically go through kind of all the series that I'm in the middle of and how far I have to go in them. I do have 2 pages here. This is not up to date anymore of the series that I'm in. This is from started 2 years ago, and then I just used it again last year. But some of them you could see like have a slash through them. Those are series I'm no longer going to be reading. But also I've started a number of other series that are not added to this list yet. But because I have DNF'd a lot of series, I don't have very many where I'm near the end. So some of those series, I'm going to have to read a few books in order to finish. So I feel like 6 is a challenge to aim for. We'll see if I can actually complete 6 series. It doesn't help that in December I completed a series. I should have probably held off on that book till January. Then I could get ahead on that goal. It's okay. I think 6 is doable, but I'll have to work for it. We'll see. And so stay tuned about a video specifically about series and which ones I kind of would really like to finish. But I think 6 is doable. We'll see. Then number 3 is to read 75 short stories. I've talked about my short stories goal for the year. I showed you a bunch of books that I have that are short stories. I haven't filled it in yet, but I made this little honeycomb thing for short stories. I have to, some of my pens bled through. My journal I'll show you that towards the end of January when it's all finished. But I have 75 spaces on here for short stories. I've already read one. So I'm on my way. But I think I was debating between 52, which is 1 a week, and 104, which is 2 a week. But 100 just seems like a lot. So I went kind of mid-range and just said 75. Some weeks I'll read 1, some weeks I'll read 2, some weeks I might read a ton. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room, but I think 75 is doable. And hopefully by the end of the year, I will know different authors whose short stories I like. Maybe what is it about short stories that I like or don't like? Are there different aspects of them that work for me better than others? That kind of thing. I'll know a lot more. In the past, I haven't read very many short stories. When I was in college, I read a bunch. Even in elementary school, I remember reading The Gift of the Magi in 6th grade by O. Henry. Loved that. So there are some that have stood out to me from when I was younger, but it's been a long time. So that's goal number 3. Very different from the past couple of years. Number 4 is something I'm going to be tracking that I've never tracked before. And I would like to read books that are set in 10 different countries. I don't know if I do this all the time or not. I don't track the setting of my books. And I don't really have a map yet. So right now I have a box with 10 spots in it. I will at some point put a map in here and kind of color in the countries as I go. But I would like to see if I can travel through my books to 10 different countries. I think that would be fun to track, to start tracking and see where I go. I think I also would like to get one of the United States and just kind of see what states I visit in my reading. I just think that would be a fun thing to see at the end of the year. Where did I go in my reading this year? I think that would be really fun. So I'm making it a goal so that I pay attention to it and actually track it. Number 5 is a goal that I've had for many years, and I'm keeping it because I do want to continue to read my book of the month books. And so again, I just have read 10 book of the month. Ideally, I would read 12, which would be 1 a month, but I'm just making it 10 because some months I skip, some months I don't read any. Gives me a little bit of grace, removes some of that pressure to read one every single month. So the goal is to read 10 book of the month. Number 6 is to read 12 of my Christmas book exchange books. I will show you my whole cart once it's organized. Right now, I need to finish putting Christmas away. You still see Christmas on my shelves, and get all that back up into the attic so that I can rearrange this room and rearrange the rest of my house back to where it belongs. I have extra chair in here. It's just kind of crazy. But eventually I will show you all of my Christmas book exchange books, how I've been tracking them. Actually, I think I've already done that page. I can give you a quick glimpse. It's back at I haven't added the books. I haven't added the books yet for this year. But these are from 2019, 2020, 2021, and then this year, 2022. All of my book exchange books. And then I just have a little box next to it for when I've read it. I have not been doing great with that as a general rule. I'll let you know specifically how I did last year when I go over my goals from last year. But I would like to read 12 of them for this year. And look, I made little Christmas trees. Aren't I cute? And then my final goal is to read 12 Newbery books. It is a lifelong goal, bucket list goal, to read every book that has won a Newbery Award, which is a children's book award. This past year, I finally completed my collection and have collected, and I own all of the books that have up until this point won a Newbery Award. Not the honor books. I'm not collecting. There's so many more that have won a Newbery honor. But I do own all the ones that have won the Newbery Award themselves. And I would like to just read 12 of them. So I just have a little line to fill in 12 books so that I'm making progress toward that goal. If I read more, great. If not, that's okay. But I just want to keep that as a goal in front of my mind so that I remember to work on it. And again, I will show you maybe during middle grade March, I'll do a deep dive on my Newbery shelf and let you know what all the books are and which ones I've read, how I've rated them so far, what my thoughts are on that project so far. March would be a good time to do that since I will be focusing on middle grade books that month anyway. But that's it. Those are my 7 goals. I love it. Instead of doing a rainbow like I did the last couple years, I did purples. So these are all different shades and tints of purple. That doesn't mean all the rest of my pages are going to be purple. I don't have themes, but I do love some lists. I do love things to check off. I will share more about my journal with you as I get more done. I am going to have a page in here for the buzzword challenge and for Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf challenge. I will loosely be participating in those as I go through the year as well. I'm also going to, again, do the A to Z challenge. I enjoyed doing that last year, but those challenges are not ones that I am intentional about. Usually I just kind of see if something fits. Chantel's will be a little tricky this year because she kind of took a page out of Historathon in November out of their book because they made a TBR where each prompt comes from something about the book from the prompt before, and she did something similar with her challenge this year. So I may have to be a little bit intentional about that if I want to complete it. I'm not worried about completing any of those 3 challenges, but I will have pages for them because it's just something fun to track, but we'll talk about that later. But as far as goals go, those are my 7 goals for reading this year. NetGalley above 70%, finish 6 series, read 75 short stories, read from 10 different countries, read 10 book of the month, 12 Christmas books, and 12 Newbery books. All very achievable, all things that I just want to track and be intentional about this year. So that is it. That is my reading goals. I, again, hold them very loosely. It's just for fun. And I would love to hear if you have any goals with your reading this year. Are you somebody who sets goals? I have friends who are like, nope, I'm just want to read for fun. Reading is my outlet. It's my escape. And I don't want any kind of goals attached to it. And that's totally fine as well. All are very valid. Just don't let yourself feel the pressure. No pressure allowed when it comes to reading life, okay? Unless you're like in grad school and you have to do a lot of reading for that. A little pressure is good to get your work done. But for those of us who are just reading for fun, there should not be any pressure. Please don't let yourself feel that pressure, okay? This is me giving you permission to hold those goals loosely instead of tightly, okay? Okay. TED Talk over. Stepping down from the soapbox. I would love to chat with you down in the comments below about goals and your reading goals for this year or your decision to not have any goals. That's fine as well. I love talking with you down in the comments, so let's chat down there. Thank you so much for watching, and let's have a great reading year. I'm so excited. Look forward to talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.